control point is being captured.
Hey guys, Halo here with part 5 of our Unity3d tutorial. Today we're going to be getting our enemy to follow us, and then after that we will start making him attack us and get a little bit more into the AI. Now, most games usually have an enemy, and that enemy will be able to follow you. And it's not that hard. It can be done two ways. Now, I'm going to be doing this is going to be like a split tutorial, right? So there's going to be half of this video is going to be for you Unity3d free users, which is going to be the first part. And I'm also going to have a Unity Pro part, which is going to start at the time annotated right on the screen. So if you're using Unity Pro, you want to skip to that part because it's more efficient and it's just better. But we can still do this with Unity3d free, so we're going to start off with that. Although with Unity3d, with the Pro version, you guys still might want to watch just for the information in case you're not sure exactly. So now what we want to happen here is to have our enemy, let's just start off with having him basically just follow this guy around wherever he goes. So to start off with, we need some more room for them, so we're just going to scale this up a bit and save, of course. Now, let's just go ahead and create a new JavaScript and just call it AI follow. Open that up. Delete this. I'm still not 100% sure why that starts like that. Now, let's think about it. First of all, we need to have a target for our enemy to follow. So var target transform. So we set our target, what we want our enemy to follow, and we want it to be a transform, which is like a game object. How fast we want it to move, so we could do var move speed, and let's just set it to 3. I don't know. And for right now, we're also going to put a var rotation speed and make that 3 as well, because we want to tell how fast it's going to rotate, if it's going to be like lagging behind or what. So now that we've got that out of the way, we also need to be able to identify our enemy. So our enemy is this cube, but we want to be able to store that all into one variable. So we're just going to go var my transform equals transform. Okay. Whoops. No. Oh crap. Okay. Okay. What we want to do here is actually go to function awake, and then we want to put my transform equals transform. Now, what function awake does, I don't know if I've explained this quite yet, but function awake does, it basically, as soon as you start the game, it's going to call function awake. So basically when the game starts up, it calls whatever is inside this function. So now that we've got that out of the way, we want to have something also happen at the start of the game. So we're just going to put function start here, and then we're going to make our target, which is our variable, equal game object dot find with tag, I believe, player. I hope we don't get any errors on this. Dot transform. So what this should do is find our target should be set to whatever game object in our scene is tagged as player. So if we go back to Unity, our first person controller should be tagged as player. Yes, it is. If it is not, go up to tag and then player and click on it. And while we're at it, we may as well just rename this to player. So let's go back to our script, and now that that's good, now we actually need to do the finding. So we need to figure out how to get our enemy to look at, which means rotate towards, and follow our character. So we're going to go to function update, because we want this to happen all the time, at least for now. Then we're going to go to transform dot look at, and this is just something that you can use that'll basically just rotate, I believe it's the z-axis towards whatever your target is set to. So basically it's saying rotate the z-axis towards whatever's inside the parentheses. Now inside the parentheses we're going to put vector 3, which is basically like an XYZ position. So our vector 3 position would be our target dot position X. So basically I'll explain in a second actually. So transform dot position dot Y target dot position dot Z. And now let me explain this. Okay, so we have our transform to look at, so it's saying look at, and then we want it to look at a vector 3, so that's an XYZ coordinate. So if you notice over here, position X, Y, and Z, so basically that just determines where something is in the scene. So if you change these, then change that, with Y being up and down and these two being the other directions. So actually, so what we're going to do here is, instead of putting numbers here, we could put numbers, but that would just make it go towards a specific point. So we're going to put our target.position.x. So this is saying whatever our target variable is, we want to find the x of that, and that's going to be our x variable. Now, this is a bit different. You notice it says transform instead of target. You don't want it to find the y of the game object, because if you do, then when you play it and like the character jumps or something, this cube is gonna like fly and go up and down to try and get it. We want it to stay on, we want it to stay flat. So if we jump, that it doesn't try and follow us that way, because that would just be really creepy. And then over here, same thing with this one. We want it to find the Z position of the target and go there. So let's just save this and see what happens for now. So let's click play, no errors. And oh, I don't think we even added that script, did we? No, we didn't. Come on. No, nothing will happen. We've always remember to take your script and actually apply it. So our enemy, we want to attach it to our enemy because the enemy is what's going to be following us. Set our target to player, and let's click play and see what happens. Now nothing happens, and that makes sense because you'll notice that it's just rotating, but it does not rotate when we go up and down, which is what we want. But it's not following us. But as you notice, the blue, which I'm relatively sure is the Z, is staying on target. So that's good. So that shows that we're getting somewhere. So we're actually just gonna go back to function update, good old function update, and we're gonna go to, we have to figure out how to make it move towards the player, because we already have it looking at him, we already have it rotating towards him, so now we just need him to move forward towards the target. So my transform form, which basically is our enemy, dot translate. Translate when you're programming just basically means like it's sort of like movement. Translating is like one to the other kind of deal. So basically just saying our transform, we want it to move. And again, we're going to use vector 3, which is just another, XYZ. But you can also have it directions. So you could actually put like dot forward, which is actually what we're going to use. So basically it's going to move it forward along the z-axis, which will basically mean it'll move forward towards our character, times the move speed, because we want the move speed to be how fast it's going. So we go move speed, and then we're going to multiply that by time dot delta time. Now I'm not too familiar with time dot delta time just because I don't use it that often, but basically what this is saying is we want to move our transform, our enemy, we want to move it forwards at the speed that we set, and we want to have it like slowed down so that it's not instantly teleporting towards our player. So time.delta time, I'll leave an annotation just because it's kind of hard to explain, but just trust me, this should work fine. So let's close that off, go back to the game, no errors. Oh, error, okay. My transform, hold on one second. Okay, sorry, I figured out what the problem was. We actually never defined our myTransform variable. So the computer, the program has absolutely no idea what we mean by myTransform. So we're actually gonna have to go to var myTransform, which is a transform. I feel stupid. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, everything should be working fine. Come on. Give it a second. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now let's play it. Oop, look at that. Our enemy is following us. Now it is a bit fast, and it is a bit close, and there's a few things we're going to want to change later on. But it does work, so I guess that's it for this. The free version of this tutorial. I'm going to be going into NavMesh next. So if this is it for you, then thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the site I mentioned beforehand. And yeah, if this doesn't work, then please go to the website. I'll actually go to it right now. Let's see, Unity3dknowhow.webs.com, and you're going to, I'm going to sign in. And then what we're going to do, if you have an error, this is a problem I've been having, just ignore that. Okay, now you're going to go to forums, and then error JavaScript, and then just click new topic, and then just say blah 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 error blah blah blah, and then post your error here, and the situation around it, and then just click submit, and then someone will be there to help you out. Also, you can view all my videos. There's some other cool stuff here, some download links, some other stuff. I'm just basically trying to get this website off the ground, and it really helps me out if you were to check it out. Okay, I'm not gonna ask. So yeah, that's it for the free version. Thanks for watching. Feel free to click the subscribe button. And now on to the pro version. Okay, so we're gonna actually be doing something that's in the new Unity 3.5 update. So if you haven't updated to 3.5, then you need to update. But what we're actually gonna be doing is using the NavMesh thing. So what we're gonna do is disable this AI follow script for right now, which is actually why I made them separate, so that you wouldn't have to worry about, you know, all of that stuff. So if you even have this, then just uncheck it. If you don't, then don't worry about it. Now, what the first thing we're gonna do is select our floor, because our floor is what it's gonna be walking on. So we have the floor here, and what we actually need to do is go up to the top and click static. It should be unchecked. If it's unchecked, then click static. And while we're at it, let's just name this floor. And anyway, so it needs to be static so that our AI knows like that it's the floor. So now that that's static, I'm just gonna try and remember how to do this, to be honest. Okay, then we're going to go to our enemy, and we're going to go to components, navigation, NavMesh agent. Now we're just gonna leave this as is for now, and we're just gonna go to the floor again, and we're going to, you might have a navigation bar here. Whoops, you might have a navigation bar here. If you don't, then you're gonna go to window and navigation. Now you might see this, you might not, but there might be a blue thing, there might not. It doesn't really matter at this point. What you're gonna do is make sure that your floor is selected, and over here on the NavMesh display, click show NavMesh if it's unchecked, and then you're just simply gonna click bake, and then you should see a blue thing. And now basically this is defined as this, all the blue part is basically the area that your AI can walk, and it'll basically, anywhere in this area it'll know that it can go. So we're actually going to go to create JavaScript, and we're going to name it NavMesh AI, and this is a really short script. We're just going to open this up. You can do this in C#, but I prefer to do everything in JavaScript just because. So now we need to set up our target. So we're going to go to var target transform, and now that we have that out of the way, we're going to go to function update. Whoops, nope. Okay, and we're going to call get component. And you don't actually need to do like normally. Let's say we wanted to get a component on the target, we would have to do target.getComponent, but this is going to be accessing the object that the script is attached to, so you don't need to put anything in the front. You just put get components, and then if we go back here and we go to our enemy, the script's name is called NavMesh agent. Now in Unity3d, when you're scripting, you can't put spaces. So what you're gonna have to do is instead of putting spaces, you put like caps, so like NavMesh agent, and every time it goes from non-caps to caps, it puts a space there. So you can use that for things like var target. Let's say we want it to be target to look at. We could put target to look at, and then what happens is it should give us an error, obviously, because we haven't finished the script yet, but it would show up just like this in the inspector panel. What we could do is target to look at, and it'll look something like target to look at. That's what it would look like in the inspector panel. But we're just going to leave that normal for now, just because. So now that we have our NavMesh agent script, then we can just set our destination. I'm not sure if it shows up here, but there is a variable in this NavMesh agent that is what's it called? That is the destination, which is basically where you want it to go. So we want our destination, so we put .destination. Now you can access basically like any other variable or instance in another script by putting dot and then you know, whatever it is you're calling, and then we're just going to make that equal target.position, and that is literally it. So we're just going to save that, and then errors, no, okay, and then we're going to hit play. No, oh, we never attached the script again. Okay, NavMesh UI, attach it to the enemy. I don't think we defined our player yet, did we? No. Oh, silly me. Okay, go back to your NavMesh AI script and drag your player onto the target, and now everything should be working. Yep, now see, this is a lot more advanced, although it looks pretty much the same. It's a lot more advanced than the what we did in the first part, just because if you take a look here, let's see, enemy, let's just get a nice Y view of the enemy. And we click play, you'll notice, see how you see a little line drawn there? It's just a little bit more complicated, it's a bit more smooth, but there's actually something built in with this NavMesh that we can do that's far more complicated and far more advanced. Now what this actually is we can have it have some pathfinding. So let's just set up a basic scene, like a little sort of maze sort of thing. So we're going to game object, create other cube. It's way below the scene. Just drag it back up. Okay, resize it so that it's like this. Copy and paste it and move one. Just rotate one like so. Doesn't have to be anything neat because this is just an example. Put it over here, copy and paste that, and just drag that directly over here. So now what would normally happen is with other AI scripts, this thing would just hit the wall and it would keep on trying to get at you because it doesn't know what to do. But with the NavMesh system built in, with the new update, it'll pathfind. Now you'll notice though, if we do it now, it'll just go right through the wall, and that's very interesting. just because you have to add everything that you don't want it to go through. You have to add it into the baking thing. So we're going to select these walls, and we're going to go back to navigation and then just click bake. Whoops, we need to actually set those to static first. So we're just going to click static, static, and static. Now select these three, navigation, bake, and you'll notice that this weird, the blue stuff has created a little edge around it. And what this will actually do is basically anything that's not blue is like a no-no area for the AI, and it'll never go there. So what you'll notice, what will happen now is let's just turn off how am I gonna do this? Just leave it. Okay, you can kind of see what I mean, right? How do I turn off the grid? I could have sworn there was a way to turn off the grid. Whatever. Anyway, what we're gonna do is just click play and watch what our AI does. He goes around the corner and comes towards you. Now, if we jump onto the wall and go around, then he'll find the shortest possible way for him to get towards us. See, now this is really awesome because this gives you a lot more, room to do interesting things. Just because this enemy now, you can set areas where it can't go and where it can go, and it'll figure out the shortest possible way mathematically to get towards you. So, you can make really realistic, zombie games and stuff, because you don't have to set waypoints for them to go to until they see you. You can actually just, do this and set exactly where you don't want it to go. And on top of that, you can also, what we're going to be doing later with this NavMesh or the regular script, it's basically if it can't see us, then it can stop following us, or it won't be able to attack us or something like that. So yeah, this is quite a short part just because it's so easy to do. So yep, that was the NavMesh part. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for sticking around. I'll upload more parts a bit later. Hopefully this game will get a little bit more exciting later on. I know it's not right now. Some people have told me it's kind of basic, and that's what it's supposed to be. So again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later in the next part. Check out my website, and feel free to subscribe and check out my channel. And I'll see you guys later.